Grab a seat. Good morning.
Good morning.
Couldn't ask for a better morning, right? Today we're going to have a food safety conversation. You know, many of us are farming, beginning farming, and wanting to make this crazy venture something down the road, I think. So, Billy Mitchell from the National Farmers Union, food safety trainer, is going to give us all this great information. And Tom Kujon is from the Missouri Farmers Union, president. We're here to kind of get to know us. And matter of fact, in about a month we're going to have a seminar with Tom here somewhere. A little bit about me. I'll let everybody say a little bit about themselves. My name is Mitchell Pearson. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. Grew up on a farm with 11 brothers and sisters. Imagine that. I was one foot out in the country all the time, and then sometimes put a foot in the city. In the city is where I met Joyce. You know, and matter of fact, I went to school. Her brother and I were good friends. She was a little sister, you know. You know how
I'm much younger than him.
And we kind of re-met in college, so to speak. And, as a matter of fact, this was our 43rd anniversary this past weekend. So enough about me. I'm just going to turn it over to Joyce. I'll just go around and talk about yourself for a minute.
Oh, me? Okay. Joyce Pearson. I am also an educator, librarian, lawyer. Right now I work at Washington University, and I was telling, I think, Tom, that I also retired from the University of Kansas. I worked there 21 years. And I love it out here. I am glad to see you, meet you, see you again, and just enjoy our little piece of heaven.
Hey y'all, good morning.
Good morning.
Billy Mitchell from the National Farmers Union, which is based in DC. We do have offices or chapters everywhere. We don't have any in Georgia, but that's where I live, in Georgia. And I've been working with National Farmers Union for about 3.5 years. And just to explain a little bit, I guess, about how I ended up here, I'll go back 39 years, 11 months, and 27 days. I'm almost 40. I was born right in Chicago. I'm a third generation Chicagoan. Both sides of my family immigrated straight to the city. All I ever knew was city life. When I was 26, I was teaching at a high school, and this girl told me that she loved urban farming. So I lied, and I said that I loved urban farming, and she brought me to a farm. And when I walked on that farm, the way that people describe falling in love is how I felt. I mean, I felt this radical shift inside of me that must have connected something back to my Scottish or Irish ancestors, or I don't know what, from like 400 years ago. So I told the person that I lied to them, and also what was going on with me. We ended up dating, and she helped me find a job in Georgia at a residential psychiatric hospital for kids, doing experiential hands-on education that was garden-based. So I wanted to learn more about growing food, which led me to bringing an alternative to jail program out to an organic farm in Georgia, and seeing like rural food production for the first time, which was very important to me because unfortunately sometimes city people do not have the best view of what's going on in rural areas. So my eyes were open to a whole other culture there. I lost that job at the hospital because I got bought out by a different hospital company, and they cut all the experiential hands-on programs because of that. So I called that farmer and I said, Joe, I don't know what to do with my life. I just bought a car, living in Atlanta. I've been driving to Douglasville, this rural area. And he connected me with this gentleman, Rashid Nuri, who runs a farm organization called Truly Living Well. And Rashid has taught me so much in life, but he's had this amazing life. He grew up in Boston. Then for a while, he somehow farmed for the Nation of Islam in South Georgia during this very strange period of time where the Nation of Islam had about 13,000 acres. Miss Shirley Sherrod and Charles Sherrod had started a land trust in Georgia, one of the first land trusts in the country. And these like nudist, hippy-dippy white folks had started this cooperative farm called Coania, all coexisting. Somehow Rashid went from that to the USDA, where he helped write the study that led to the Pickford versus Glickman settlement. He He ended up in Atlanta and he started urban farming just in a backyard. So his whole life led up to this like quarter-acre farming. Through that, he got funding from the Arthur and Blank Foundation, which are the folks at Home Depot. We had the opportunity to build a 4.5-acre urban farm right next to the ML King Center, right downtown Atlanta. He was there for 5 years. Development happens. I think everybody knows urban areas. Land loss happens, so they moved that farm. But through Rashid, I got to have this really beautiful understanding of urban farming, and then it's not just about, not that any farming is just about one thing, but in an urban environment, urban farming is not just about production, but it's really about education. It's about the connection. It's about like pulling a carrot out of the ground in front of a little kid for the first time and watching their eyes explode, or feeding adults mustard greens who've never had mustard greens before and watching their mouths heat up. And I also just learned how much farming is about taking care of a community. Ended up at a New American farm, a refugee incubator farm. Ended up at National Farmers Union teaching food safety for the past 3.5 years now. And then teaching food safety concepts like current good manufacturing practices that would go with value-added products, farmers markets rules and regulations, farm teaching on a cooperative farm, all these things, and then a lot about production flow. We have a project with the USDA studying the way that produce flows from your field to your wash pack to your cold store. I'm like I just want local food to last. And the biggest struggle I find in the local food community is that our food doesn't always last as long as the lettuce does at Publix. Or that's a grocery store in Georgia. That's a grocery store here.
We do
Dominic? That's
no,
not
yeah, we travel.
yeah, okay.
No overlap.
We've got all these.
Piggly Wiggly? Okay, Piggly Wiggly.
That's Georgia. And
Piggly
Wiggly. Yes.
All right, Piggly Wiggly. We had one in Chicago too. Yeah. But somehow this lettuce at the Piggly Wiggly is lasting longer than the lettuce that grew 4 blocks away from me. And a lot of that is just post-harvest practices. It's getting the field heat out of our produce as quickly as possible. Penn State did this. I know y'all have to go, so no, I'm sorry. But Penn State did this study that blew my mind that showed that for every hour you delayed getting your produce cold, you lost up to a day in shelf life. So if you harvested, the way that we used to harvest our stuff is we harvested everything, we left it out on tables in the harvest containers in Atlanta, just cooked. And we were just, now I realize, not only were we increasing our produce safety risk, because pathogens love those temperatures, so they were on there, but we were losing all this shelf life. And the chefs would be like, when we buy it from you, it's beautiful. By day 3, it's garbage. What's going on here? So they had to take this UC Davis post-harvest class. But that's also a big part of cleaning and sanitizing. They found that those containers, when they're properly cleaned and sanitized, the shelf life extends. Even like a clean, sanitized, sharp harvest knife will extend the shelf life of your produce. Like just like us, if you ever worked in a restaurant and you cut yourself with a dull knife, it's a horrible cut. A clean knife is scary, but it's just like things feel better. We're just taking care of our harvest bins, especially if they're broken, replacing them. We had a lot of holes in our baskets back in the day.